Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's second video, doing the European outlook for today's second video. So as always on a Thursday, we're having a detailed look at the weather for next week, 10 days across Europe, and I should get on that for you in a moment. Just say that first. The video really says our 6-7 UK weather forecast, and we've also got 10 to 14 down with all of the regular features coming up for you later on this afternoon as well. So please like, share and subscribe on all today's videos and content, and thank you so much everybody for doing that for Gabs or Weather Bits. Right, let's start off situation across Europe today. We've got low pressure in the Atlantic again, heading into western parts of Europe. Cold air sitting across Scandinavia and northern Europe, and a ridge bringing relatively warm there down across southern, southeastern parts of Europe. Upper air temperatures showing this up very nicely. So got very mild, if not quite warm, upper air temperatures down across southern, southwestern parts of Europe. It gets progressively cooler further north you go. And then we run into this very cold air sitting across northern and northeastern parts of Europe, including Norway, Sweden, or large parts of Sweden, and over to Finland and into Baltic Sea states as well. So that cold air just trickling into Scotland as well. So precipitation-wise today, we've got more wet weather waiting in the wings of the Atlantic for the UK and Ireland. Showery rain through France into Germany, and the Low Countries turns very wet as we push northerly towards Denmark and southern parts of Norway and Sweden. Could be some snow mixed in with that. Snow flurries further north across the central and northern parts of Scandinavia, Nordic regions. Many eastern and southern parts of Europe though looking mainly dry, especially down across the Med. Lots of dry weather from Italy back towards Spain, Portugal, and also much of Greece and Turkey. Plenty of dry conditions too. Very mild, is not warm, down across the southern part of Europe. Temperature in Spain, for example, probably reaching the low 20s Celsius. But as I say, it gets colder the further north you go, and bitterly cold air is sitting across the Scandinavian and Nordic peninsula there. We go through into tomorrow, Friday, with low pressure deepening in the Atlantic. At the same time, a ridge is strengthening through central and eastern parts of Europe. And that shifts the wind around more of a southerly direction. So we start to pull up to very mild, if not warm air, up the western side of Europe. Hot air coming out of Africa into southern parts of Spain, by the way, and a progressively mild or warm air moving up western side of Europe. At the same time, the cold air across Scandinavia starts to retreat back northwards again. So looking generally mild or warm across many parts of Europe tomorrow. Some snow is likely from Sweden through the Baltic Sea in towards Finland, and probably some wintry conditions into Baltic Sea states as well. Heavy rain through Denmark and northern Germany. Some of that could turn to snow if it pushes far enough north in towards Norway and Sweden. We'll introduce some milder air though from the south. And then some showers through the UK and Ireland. Otherwise, a lot of dry weather actually as we're going through into tomorrow. But wet weather is lurking to the west of France, Spain and Portugal. It's a very warm, if not quite hot day across southern parts of Spain. Temperature well up into 20s Celsius, and the warmth extends northwards across many parts of Europe. The cold air across Scandinavia starts to go back into retreat, but it does look pretty cold across Scotland there, albeit Ireland, England, Wales, relatively mild. When low pressure deepens in the Atlantic on Saturday, this is Storm Kathleen, just been named by the UK Met Office and Met Aaron. That's going to bring some very windy weather into the western side of Europe. But again, windy coming from the south, from the southwest, so should be relatively warm, or certainly very mild anyway, with a ridge across more southern and eastern parts of Europe. Look at the upper air temperatures, a real surge of heat. It's probably the first sort of heat spike, really, of the season. A surge of heat coming out of Africa, moving through Spain, into France, into the Low Countries and Germany as well, with plus 15 Celsius ice well. That's very impressive for the 6th of April. So that gets into the UK and Ireland, some of that warm, but then starts to get swept eastwards by the low pressure, bringing the wind in from off the Atlantic. And again, the cold air across northern Scandinavia is retreating away. There will be wet weather overnight Friday into Saturday, moving up through the UK and Ireland. Showers following along behind. And we've got some showers around Ukraine and going back to Belarus and into southwest of Russia. But otherwise, a lot of dry weather around with that ridge building on Saturday. And a very mild, if not warm, with the temperature on Saturday. So you see the swathe of warmth from the eastern parts of Spain through France into the Low Countries, Germany. Very mild, if not warm day, temperatures widening into the low 20s Celsius. So that gets into eastern parts of England, but then will start to get pushed away by those Atlantic winds, and still looking very cold across the north of Scandinavia, of course. That takes us through into Sunday, where we've got a ridge across central and eastern parts of Europe. At the same time, low pressure, though, is out in the Atlantic to the west of UK and Ireland. So, upper air temperatures show that the warmth is being squeezed further eastwards with that ridge of high pressure, but still pretty mild air coming in off the Atlantic ridge, so not cold, with that area of low pressure to the west of the UK and Ireland. And the coldest of the air still retreating away to the very, very far north of Sweden, Norway, and Finland, and northwestern Russia. Further rain up the western side of Europe at times, certainly showering conditions there. Some rain and snow across Sweden through into Finland as well, but otherwise lots of dry weather again through central and eastern parts of Europe with that ridge of high pressure, but warmth gradually easing further eastward, so getting towards Poland, for example, by Sunday, and also a little bit cooler out to the west, but still pretty mild, and the coldest of the air off northern Scandinavia retreating away. Through into Monday, high pressures on the eastern side of Europe still putting up those warm sunny winds. Low pressure is out in the Atlantic and to the north of the west of Europe. Upper air temperatures show for warmth, squeezing further and further eastwards, moving from Poland towards Ukraine, for example. At the same time, though, it's turning cooler out to the west and northwest, but still pretty mild, really. Further showers or longer spells of rain through northern parts of Spain, Portugal, into France, UK, and Ireland, so still quite unsettled through western parts of Europe. Showery conditions through Scandinavia, increasingly turning back towards rain and sleet rather than snow, I would imagine. And then most central and eastern parts and southern parts of Europe, again, looking mainly dry on Monday. The warmth gradually easing further eastwards, but still mild in the western part of Europe as well. Notice southern parts of Sweden, for example, looking increasingly mild by Monday. Tuesday starts to flatten the ridge off. We pull in more of a westerly flow across the north and the west of Europe. So pushing through to the upper air temperatures, we can see the warmth is very much on the eastern side of Europe by Tuesday. It's actually turning cooler in the west, with cooler air coming in towards the UK, Ireland, and France with those westerly winds. Also, we see a bit of cool down into Spain, Portugal, and the central part of the Med, with the warmth more towards the eastern side of the Mediterranean. Very cold air, though, has retreated away into towards the Arctic, however, by Tuesday. And precipitation-wise, we see further wet weather pushing from the Atlantic and the UK and Ireland, France, in towards the Low Countries, up towards Denmark and some parts of Norway, Sweden too. Some of that wet weather beginning to extend towards Poland as well. Large portions of Scandinavia and Nordic regions of the Baltic Sea states will remain dry, much of Eastern Europe dry and Southern Europe mostly dry as well, though there is rain and snow across alpine regions of France and Italy. And temperature-wise, it's cooler in the west, with warmth very much over through the central and also eastern part of Europe. Bit of a cool down, I say, going on into the Mediterranean as well. Wednesday sees high pressure ridging through France, Spain, Portugal from the Azores. Low pressure again remains out to the northern and western part of Europe. Winds coming in from a westerly direction across most areas, actually, of Europe on Wednesday. Further showers or long spells of rain through Scandinavia, so those shower conditions extending down into Germany and the Low Countries as well. Wet weather perhaps pushing more towards the eastern side of Europe as well, as that ridge is breaking down, so some rain starting to move through the Balkans, for example, even in towards Romania and up towards Ukraine as well. And then we've got showers, of course, with those rescue winds out to the west, with more rain lurking in the Atlantic. Temperatures about average, a little bit cooler therefore across western and also central parts of Europe, but won't be clinging on by its fingertips in extreme east of Europe through Ukraine and down towards Black Sea as well, and then in towards the Mediterranean, looking reasonably warm through there. And then Thursday, we'll see high pressure dominating across France, Spain, Portugal from the Azores. Low pressure is through northern parts of Europe. Upper air temperatures relatively mild in most areas, to be honest, by Thursday. And there's more wet weather spreading from the UK and Ireland through the Low Country to Germany, up to Denmark, and also southern parts of Norway and Sweden. Some snow in the far northern portion of Finland, the Arctic regions of Finland, for example, and some showers down in the southeastern corner, maybe a few storms breaking out in towards Greece, but again, and southern Italy. But again, most parts of the Mediterranean mostly dry on Thursday. And temperature-wise, it's looking pretty mild in many areas. Just run you on to day 10, so Friday excuse me, before I start to see high pressure building through the western side of Europe. So high pressure taking over a couple of days anyway at the end of next week. But by Sunday, 14th of April, signs of low pressure coming back in from the Atlantic again. So any change to high pressure through the west of Europe, any sort of drying trend doesn't look like it's set to last there. Although that is a long way off. Of course. Right, so that's your European outlook for this week. If you enjoyed the forecast and found it useful and informative, please like, share, subscribe, and we'll be back shortly with your 10 to 14 day. I'll see you later on for that one. For the European outlook for this week, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.